Hello guys, good afternoon. It's me Baijit Chaudhary once again on YouTube. Friends, just a few days ago we just discussed about voice change actually, and what is its importance, why it has been introduced in the syllabus, and what is the basic reasons behind introducing it. And we also discussed that how can we relate writing skill with voice change, what is the link in between them, and why should we learn voice change. I also explained these reasons to you guys, and what I have felt myself is that uh, now I should go ahead with this project that I started again, that since the students have to solve the exercises based on voice change and all that. So I think most of the students, whatever I have experienced myself, looking at their activities, their performances, what I myself have realized is that most of the students can easily change the voices, the normal voice changes, the normal exercises based on tenses and all that. But most of the students find it difficult to solve those exercises actually, which are based on interrogation. I'm talking about the interrogative sentences. Interrogative sentences are the questions. In case of the statements, they can easily solve the voices. They can easily turn them into passive from active, or from active to passive. They can easily turn them. But in case of the sentences, whenever they just find some sentences which are already in the form of question, apart from the statements, they find it little bit difficult. And what I have thought that I should do something here so that I can help the students to realize that these are actually not difficult at all, but what we need is a little bit change in the strategy, in the planning also, and we also need to change our viewpoint. So here today I'm going to talk about the interrogative sentences, how do they come in the form of voice, and how should we solve them in an easy way. My intention is just to help the students and those people also who have interest in grammar. Uh, and our today's topic is actually voice change of the interrogative sentences, and not the sentences based on statements and all that. In future we may try to solve those types of exercises also, as most of the students have problem with this type. That's why I have decided to go ahead with this one. So let's begin, guys. Here I have already written some patterns of interrogative sentences on a page, so that you can see them and easily identify or point them out. So here are the types of the interrogative sentences in which they generally come. So here are the sentences. I have done this so that the students can understand that the questions or the sentences in the form of question or interrogative sentences, what are their forms, in how many forms they may appear at the time of examination. First of all, you need to detect the sentence. Only if you can detect the sentence that it is in interrogative form, only then you should follow the rule, the concerned rule for the same. So here are the pattern of some interrogative sentences, and these types of sentences often come in exam, in the tests, and students have to solve them. So here are some examples and some patterns. Here are some patterns basically, and I will give the examples. So here are the sentences and their types. Here are the types. First of all, I think you all can see now. First of all, I have written that questions or interrogative sentences. Questions or interrogative sentences. I am a little bit zooming in so that you can see it easily, guys. Questions or interrogative sentences, the same thing. Okay. A question or an interrogative sentence is the same thing. Okay. And the questions, they may come here, they may appear with sometimes with WH words in the beginning and sometimes without any WH words. In case of without any WH words, the sentences that begin without the questions that begin without any WH word, those sentences generally begin in a different way. Instead of WH words, primary auxiliary, some primary auxiliaries are used for framing a question, and in some cases, some modal auxiliaries are used also in framing the interrogative sentences. So these are the basic things about the questions or the interrogative sentences that we should need to learn or know about the questions first. As guys, we should obviously try to know about these things in detail because we have to work on it. Okay, as I just told you earlier that we should not always jump to solve them. We should try to know that what's the basic reason, what's the detail behind it. Only then we will have the fun also in solving grammar or English or whatever we learn. I think that should be a package of infotainment. We should have information and entertainment also, so that we can have some pleasure in learning and doing these new types of things. So questions may appear with some WH words or without WH words. In case of without WH words, those questions would be framed using some primary auxiliaries or some modal auxiliaries. So let me give you an example of a let me give you an example of a question or an interrogative sentence that begins with a WH word. Here I am writing down. Question mark. So guys, I have written when did he do this. This one is a question. So how to turn it from active to passive, how to solve this exercise. Here you will have the instruction that change the voice or turn into passive or something like that. So now you will have to solve it. How will you solve it now? Yes, what we should do is, first of all, we will have to put the same WH word that we have. Then we shall have a primary auxiliary in the form of did. It may be did, it may be do also, it may does also. So in case of did, you should think about was or where. Whenever you find did after the WH word, you should think about was. You should just think about was or where. So whether was or where will be used, it depends on the number of the subject. So when did he do this? So these here is in the form of object, but this one is going to be used as a subject. So subject is in singular form, thi is in singular form. So we should go with yes, obviously was. Then the object will come here in the form of the subject. When was this? Then what you need to do in case of passive voice, in case of turning from active to passive, all the time keep it in your mind that you need to use or go ahead with the third form of the verb. So the third form of the verb would be used here, done. Then a preposition will be used. The preposition, which preposition will be used, that depends on the sentence. Most of the cases by is used, but most of the students think that all the time in case of turning from active to passive, all the time by would be used. It's not like that. It depends on the sentence. Done by. Now the subject will take the form of the object. So when did he do this? When was this done by him? Now the same mark will just continue. I hope you can see. Yes. Now I'm just giving the formula so that you can understand it and better memorize it. WH word plus helping verb is verb plus subject plus V3 plus preposition plus object, then the question mark. If anything else is there in the sentence, the rest will be used here. It depends on the sentence. So this one is done. And now there may several examples may come of questions that begin with WH words. Here I have just given a single example, guys. So in case of any problem relating the WH word sentences and the problem regarding how to solve them, you may write your problem in the comment box below. Okay, now moving towards the questions where WH words are not used, rather primary auxiliaries are used. So first of all, let me give an example for you. Is he writing a paragraph? Is he writing a paragraph? So in case of these one, what you need to do, once just a few moments earlier I just told you that we need to change our viewpoint also. Yes, here I'm going to explain it, how you need to change the viewpoint, why is it necessary. This one is actually a question, is he writing a paragraph? But here what you need to do is to look at the sentence not as a question but as a statement. How can you do this? You need to imagine the auxiliary verb actually after the subject. Though it's a question, but what you need to do is to imagine it as a statement. Imagining the auxiliary verb after the subject. Though it's earlier, but you need to imagine it that way. He is writing a paragraph. So if the sentence is in that way, that he is writing a paragraph, how do you change it into passive? Simply, what you will do? You will simply bring the object in the place of the subject. A paragraph, present continuous tense, so you will obviously write is being written by him. But your work is not over, guys. Now you will have to look at the sentence, that the sentence was actually in question, interrogative form, as the auxiliary verb was at the beginning before the subject. So here what you need to do is to put the auxiliary verb at the beginning. Then A would turn into small letter. Is a paragraph being written by him? I myself have seen, question mark will follow. I myself have seen that many of my students, while teaching them voice of the interrogative sentences, they find it difficult. They have found it difficult, and then I just told them to apply this technique. Whenever they just look at a sentence that begins with auxiliary verb and the sentence which is in the form of question, they get puzzled. Then I just suggest them to not to look at the sentence as it is, but to look at the sentence as a statement. And taking it as a statement, I just suggest them to solve it, turn it into passive. And what I tell them later is to put the auxiliary verb just at the beginning. That way.